Savigya wants to know, have there been times working on a script that you thought that you'd never be able to complete it? You have that writer's block?
Every day on a script. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something any writer deals with a lot. Every problem always seems insurmountable. The cruel thing, the cruel trick that your mind plays on you when you're writing is you sort of go to bed at night thinking, oh, I've got the whole thing worked out and I can write it no problem tomorrow. And then you sit down and you're like, hang on, it seems so simple till I started writing it. And you're often getting stuck. I mean, I think the longest I was stuck was on Inception. I got to page 80 or so. You know, I had 2 acts of it. And I was stuck for about, 10 years or so, you know. I did other things as well. I wasn't sitting at the typewriter, all work and no play. Yeah, it wasn't that. But, you know, I was just jammed on it. And then I had a breakthrough. And the old cliche of if you're having trouble, if there's something wrong with the third act, it's actually wrong with the first and second act. You know, that's where you really need to do the work. I have always found that to be true. Like if you're absolutely stuck, you know, on that third act, it probably means that some of the groundwork you laid in the first 2 acts is flawed somehow. And with Inception, that was definitely the case. And I went back and with a new take on it, and it then got finished pretty rapidly.
Do you tend to have a few ideas that you're most passionate about, kind of in parallel you're thinking about, or do you singularly focus on one project?
I mean, it's different at different points in my life, really. Yeah. You know, there have been times when I've had to have multiple things on the go. I mean, certainly when we were doing the Dark Knight films, you know, I was working on other things at the same time, but those films were so big and kind of all-consuming that, you know, along with my brother and David Goyer, you know, we sort of had to be kind of finishing one film. You know, when I was finishing The Prestige, for example, I already had Nathan Crowley on designing for The Dark Knight and so forth. So, and I'm not generally comfortable with doing more than one thing at a time, but there have been moments where you've sort of had to think about more than one thing. What I like doing between films is exploring a range of different ideas, you know, a whole set of possibilities. But there's always that moment, for me at any rate. I mean, other filmmakers are different, everybody's different, but for me, there has to be this moment where you commit, you know, mentally you commit, and you go, okay, I'm gonna fully concentrate on this for as long as it takes to get it done.
And before you get to that commit stage, do you have like a few ideas that are sort of populating in your mind of different directions and you pick one, or how, like, what's your kind of process of kind of picking the next project?
I mean, it's
different every
just
time,
been
I'm sure.
different. It's literally been different every time. It comes back to story, simple as that. You know, if you get wrapped up in the story and you feel you know how to tell it, then you get excited about, you know, all that focus and all that concentration. And then you're creating a world that you're happy to live in for a couple of years. Because it takes a long time and it takes a lot of focus. At least the way I work, you know, I'm not really able to do anything else when I make a film. So, you know, you really have to know that it's something you're still going to care about in a couple of years.
Yeah. This next question comes from Bojack. Bojack wants to know, in your formative years, did you ever have a mentor who played a part in who you are as a filmmaker today?
I mean, so many great inspirational figures in film. But the wonderful thing about film and the era I've grown up in, you know, as really I suppose the first, you know, home video generation set of filmmakers on my age, you know. So, you know, we got our first VHS player in the early 80s or whatever, when I was, you know, 12 years old or something. And so I've been able to grow up with inspirational figures in my creative life who I never met and I never, you know, had that particular mentor relationship with. I mean, my parents were very encouraging of me and you know, lent me a Super 8 camera, you know, Super 8 film, you know, when I was a little kid, you know, I was 7, 8 years old. But I think I would point to being able to access all of film history through home video. And so, you know, I was able to study the work of, you know, Ridley Scott and Nicholas Roeg, and later on, you know, Terrence Malick and Kubrick and people like that. And I had the great fortune of being able to meet, you know, some of these people, you know, met the great Terrence Malick, and I've met Ridley Scott, you know, and that's a wonderful thing. But you can have that. And for kids today, it's even more so. I mean, everything is accessible so easily. which is a great thing because you can really drill into, okay, what are the great filmmakers of the past? What have they done and how have they done it? And really sort of study that for yourself.
Yeah.